And right now, it starts Flash Friday.
Flash Friday, yes, sir.
We're done with the long leading intro videos. That's our new little music video. It just starts with right now. And all right, here it is, November 11th. Hi, Todd. Welcome back.
Hi, welcome. It's good to be here.
Yeah. We got a short week of content this week, so it's not going to be there.
First, we should go back and review the archives, Doug. This may be our shortest.
I don't know. We always manage to yammer about something when it has. Okay, so please take a moment. I want to get a shout out from somebody who watched the 10-4 episode, who said, "Hey, just finished. I did mild redaction, but nothing substantive on it, just to make sure nothing was disclosed that shouldn't be." But it said, "Hey, we just finished watching it. Your rant on MFA." Sorry, I do that. I'm not even sorry because
hey man, that's your thing. That's your thing. That's okay. You can rant.
It's definitely a thing, right? So it says for all users at a client he was working at, he ran the audit reports in the CEO's account. In the month of September, 500 failed logins, mainly from China. They enabled MFA on September 23rd for the last week of the month, went to a grand total of 1 failed logon on the account, and that was actually a failed logon of the person. So it was a legit failed logon. Pretty compelling evidence that MFA works. CTO carries the audit report around with him on his phone and uses it to shut people up every time they complain about not liking MFA. It quiets them pretty swiftly. Hope you have a great weekend. I had a great week because of that email. I had a great week. Al, thank you for sending it in. I don't know what to give people who turn on MFA, but I said out in the hallway earlier today.
A big hug. How about that?
Big hug. A digital hug. What I said to people was, we've talked about 99% threats, but there it is from a real person who's out in the world, who we know, who watches the show, went out, did this, and said, we turned it on, right? It's not that hard. The device can be a factor, right?
You know what? Just a quick shout out to Al. I miss you, brother. Hope you're doing good.
Yeah, so I love hearing those kind of stories. If you turn it on, I don't know, we'll figure out something to send you. So if you tweet us out a shot of your impacted conditional access rule with blur out anything thing, but tweet your conditional access rule that covers your user to Office Flash Friday, and we will send you something fun. I don't even know what yet. I don't care. But you tweet Todd and I. Hit us both on Twitter, right? DSplinter and
Todd Kidda.
At Todd Kidda, at DSplinter, tweet us out a picture of your conditional access rule. Thank you, Emily, for tossing that up on the down there. So the on top of it, and we will absolutely send you some kind of Office Flash Friday or Microsoft swag stuff, right? Because I don't know what else to do to encourage people on this. It's so impactful and powerful. I said this morning, there's 2 things I would wish for everyone to do in security: turn on MFA and patch. Enter this particular post from Mark Simos, who talks about patching as a social responsibility. So my next guilt thing for people is, I don't understand, you know, we set out to understand, talk about why people weren't applying patches, right? And they learned a lot from it around like why people don't go. So this is a really interesting, thoughtful learnings post around like what your role is, because it's you know, it's the herd mentality of protection, right? So there's all that sort of, you know, if everybody else is taken care of, then you're okay too, but that's not always the case. So the more people who are sort of prevented by doing patching exercise, is very much a corollary to an immunization exercise, right?
Yep.
So these kind of things are corollary. So please go check this out. Start thinking about your holistic patch strategy. And then, because I know it can't be perfect, but you can take a risk adaptive patch. We've shown you how to do that on the show, right? If you own the entitlement to E5, this is why we're so passionate about the M365 E5 suite. It'll give you a risk aligned prioritization of your machines as far as patching and alignment goes. I don't know what else we can do. These are the threats that are coming in. These are the threats that are coming into your enterprise, and these are the machines that are most at risk based on those kind of threats. So at least if you can't get everything, then hit the highest priority ones first, because those are your most likely vectors of programmatic compromise. So shield the users, the identity as a control plane, shield the systems through patching, network awareness, and good governance, operationalization, and control. Yes, they are.
And the data's there.
And are they perfect? No, but they're good. Getting towards very good, right? And so we want you to operationalize around these things so that your SIM has real signals of interest. Because if you have 500 failed logins for an account coming in every month on top of it, the anomaly model there is, well, I guess it would be defined over time, but it's a lot of garbage data. If you can go from 500 failed auths to 1, failed auths mean something to you, right? So that's data relevancy matters. All these things matter. So there we go. All right. End of rant part 2, MFA and patch. Thank you all very much. Okay, so a couple of things we wanted to go through the Office 365 roundup and chat through this jointly, I guess. We missed a few things. This post's not new because we covered a lot of it, but Todd and I were kind of skimming through this and we're like, nah, this is a couple weeks back, but it's worth a skim through as far as where things are at, we think. So we did see an app updates on the Yammer mobile app. So if you haven't seen the conversational experience, this is pretty cool. I don't know, Todd, your thoughts on it? Pretty slick.
No, I love it. I mean, I spend most of my day in Teams, but I still use Yammer for quite a few things, from broad communication out to folks and from folks.
That's where we get all of our product engineering updates internally to Microsoft, right? If the product teams are announcing something, they do it in Yammer.
But it just, frankly, it's a more modern experience. It's better to look at. I appreciate the updates.
Yeah, it's very experientially aligned with Teams from a UI standpoint, right? So I like it. Although the audience is different, they have that. Obviously, we're going to dive in on a little bit of To-Do, but then we had the To-Do announcements. We did a full thing on that, but there's a new blog post from To-Do today on some cool stuff, so we'll cover that in a minute. They had the share individual slides and public speaking jitter coaching inside of it. So the link to this slide and copy the link components, you can send someone a link directly to a slide.
I was commenting on that one this morning in the back room, what a small thing that could have very well been there 15 years ago, but wasn't, but super incredibly useful, right? If I can do the same thing for a bookmark in Word or something like that, that would be great too. But this is great.
We were working on a presentation the other day, and we just live activated co-authoring, invited a person into who happened to have a Gmail account into the team that we were collaborating on. They only got the ones because the organization had trusted Google for auth as a trusted auth provider, like we've shown you how to do in the past, right? So they just had the one consent. This organization wants to invite you in. It was like the most seamless, collaborative, easy co-authoring. It was just wonderful.
That's great.
Yeah, it was just like one of those how it's supposed to work moments, right? But we all paused to reflect.
With the Gmail,
actually. Yeah. So it was two different Microsoft O365 organizations and one external brand consultant who had a Gmail account. And
that's awesome.
Everybody together in a team, collaborating, co-authoring, wonderful. Yep. They also released the presenter coach. I admit I have never really used the presenter coach prior to seeing this announcement. It's kind of interesting. If you have not used it, I think you should take a gander.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
I use the layout, intelligent AI layout suggestion all the time because I suck at making slides look good. But the presenter coach is kind of an interesting feature. I hadn't really.
I mean, to me, and we talked about this one a little bit, but to me the one that's just worth its weight in gold is the tracker, right? You know, you're doing filler words and things like that. But I also love the more advanced things around using inclusive language and those kinds of.
I have I developed this crutch word to when I want to confirm the audience understands, where I use the word right.
Yeah, I think I just did it a moment ago.
This is important, right? So it stone cold busts those repetitive crutch words that you develop. Doesn't mean you can get rid of them. At least you're more self-aware of your crutch words.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Hey, sometimes they're punctuation, right?
Exactly, right? Okay, we'll stop. Right. It's time to stop now. Okay, so then how to get that? They also had the on updates to OneNote to take a little more of to-go stuff and keep on top of current notes. And for Outlook on Mac, you got the dark mode for it. So the OneNote, quote unquote, modern applications continue to advance. And if you are still holding back, I think it's time for another reevaluation of the modern OneNote.
I have this conversation all the time with people. I'm surprised at how a lot of internal Microsoft people who are violently opposed to switching. And I'm like, come on, you got to give it a try. I've been on it for like 2 years, and it's actually really good.
It's really good, and I'm not saying every little thing works the same way that it did before. But functionally, it's pretty darn good.
My comment to these folks is I've been a OneNote user since 2003, right?
Yeah. Yep.
16 years. And I've been on this bad boy for 2 years, and I'm perfectly happy. So
so it's time. I think it's time to take a strong look at it and see if you can make the cut. Because there are a lot of things it does do that the legacy OneNote from Office 2016 does not.
Yep.
So you're starting to have I had these 3 things, but now there's maybe 19 things that it does that you don't get to take advantage of.
And I do love the integration with sticky notes. I just recently made the switch from from Android to iOS. One of the things I loved on Android was with the Microsoft Launcher, you had your notes over on the whatever
It's
you call
wonderful.
that left thing, and that just
Yeah.
goes into your OneNote automatically.
It's beautiful. I was gonna say, like, I know you moved away, but I stayed because I am too addicted to the transparent integration of to-do functionality, the notes,
Nice.
the shopping list, all the crazy things I have. Like, I really, really like that. I went to the Note 10 Plus just to see what that form factor was like, and it's a little big. I think I kind of wish I'd gone with the Note 10 instead of the Note 10 Plus, but I really wanted to see how much functionally could I do on it. And then we saw the announcements with Duo and Neo, which we talked about last week, and I'm like, oh, now I have device choice crisis, right? As you know, I'm a Surface.
Decision there.
I know, but I'm a Surface Go person, right? So I do everything on a Go. And so, so I'm a Go and Android person, and I have everything lined up, and I'm pretty happy with it. And so, anyway, so check out the OneNote stuff on top of it. I thought the Microsoft Form language barrier stuff in surveys, this is actually really cool.
It's very cool. I think Forms has been one of the fastest, because I look at Forms today, and it's a pretty mature product. So, in my opinion, I think Forms has moved to maturity in a super rapid pace when you look at like the last
very quickly. So really cool stuff. Obviously the export Visio workflows to Flow. You're probably gonna talk more about that one, I'm guessing, or no?
I think we could just touch on it now. I mean, you just said it, right? If you build Visio workflows, you can export that out to flows. So that's pretty cool.
Yep, and it has the built-in business process model and notation stencils, so you have that kind of stuff. You know, we've been having this continuing dialogue around Flow and PowerApps and, you know, eBPM and RPA and all the rest of those things. Here's my comment on all that, although it's worth a thoughtful discussion if you ever want to come into the MTC and talk about it. Just enable with governed tools your community, non-IT community or citizen development community to get work done.
Yep.
Right, with tools that are usable, reflective, governed, and compliant. You do that.
If you give smart people good tools that are governed, like good stuff's going to happen.
Good stuff happens, right? And this is not, you know, your Doug's Access database days. These things actually have control and governance. Yes. So check it out. Keep advancing the.
I'll be honest. Like I get a lot of skepticism on that on the governance side, which I get, right? Because we're all still so used to spread marts and Access databases under Susie's desk. Yep. But it's a thing. It's real. Come check it out.
Admin templates for like freelancer support and the rest of the stuff, kind of cool stuff around the admin side. We had done a review on this one, but the automated instant response in O365 ATP, which is sort of Hexadite-ish in nature, for those of you who know that stuff, that's over in the Defender ATP, where you say, hey, this happened, and I have to do an automated remediation, an audit trail, and proof that I actually remediated the exercise. So the automated instant response with O365 ATP is now GA. So depending on your entitlement, go check that one out.
Did you say Hexadite-ish?
Yeah, so Hexadite is, for those who know, we acquired Hexadite, which was the automated investigation components included in Defender ATP.
Got it.
So because Defender had this remediation stuff, but it didn't have like a full, hey, this threat was pretty commodity, so you can automate the entire forensic investigation, remediation, response, and just provide an audit trail that all the proper steps to return that machine to a known good state that's fit to be on my network was followed. Make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So Defender ATP's automated investigations came out of that, and that kind of automation of a security workflow is spreading across our tool set, which it should, just because of the number of things we have to do. You know, my analogy around fire safety, it continues in this regard. You know, you don't go into every room, open a door, and sniff for fire. You basically go ahead and let smoke detectors do that for you, right? Yep. Now, unfortunately, if a fire occurred, you have to have you have to manually put that thing out, right? Oh, yeah. But our fires inside of IT are a little less physical in manifestation, and we cannot run to every one and with a fire extinguisher and put them out. So the point behind these automated investigation capabilities, if it's been determined that it's a very scoped and well-known thing that occurred, then and the remediation and quarantine steps are also appropriate and no behavioral analytics are present, you should be able to automate that so a human being can either just confirm it or not be involved at all in returning that service to a known state or data element. And that's really what we're trying to do with automated investigations. So, all right. So, sorry, Doug's got to crush his calendar out. All right. I know. I usually close Outlook. I can't believe I didn't do that. So bad, Doug. All right. So you got the the Evaluation Lab and Defender ATP, so you can go ahead and look at where you're at from that standpoint. Some pretty cool announcements on top of that. There was also the redesigned Outlook on the web went to GA, so that little preview slider that's been there forever. Do you want to try the new one? Well, there you go. And Security Policy Advisor went into public preview.
Well, just to jump back to that, for my money, Doug, Outlook on the web is where it's at these days. I don't even use Outlook Fat Client anymore. I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you because you had just a meeting reminder pop up.
I do use it. I find a tremendous amount of value in it personally. So I do. Yep. Right. But I know that's a work style thing, right?
Yep.
So that there's so you're just feeling. And here's the good news: we get to choose.
Yeah, absolutely.
With this amazing cloud-backed services. I had someone the other day, they're like, we see a vision where this entire class of people run this, X device. I'm like, great, and we'll be there to provide world-class collaboration services on that device.
Yep.
And the customer's like, blink, blink, because I think they were expecting a different response when they said they were going to take a community. I'll tell you, it's a community of people, not everyone. They were take this entire community, and they were like, well, we're gonna move these class of people to Android. And I'm like, great. Well, how would you like us to help? Identity services, application delivery, launcher experiences, collaboration environments. We're still going to be there because it's a modern world and people are going to choose special purpose devices at various price points across different. I think the announcement with the Duo, where we partner with Google on dual screen Android support, should tell you where we're at.
That's right.
Right? So, all right, end of, it's a new Microsoft from 6 years ago statement.
Exactly.
All right, so I got one more thing, and that is the announcements from the to-do stuff, which you and I absolutely love. And so on top of to-do, you got dark mode. Ta-da!
Yes.
That was really dramatic, wasn't it? It is pretty cool, though.
Which I am loving.
It, right?
I already mentioned the second time I mentioned, my move back to iOS. I'm in love, and I've got the new iPhone 11 Pro, which has the OLED screen. Dark mode is just, it's just lovely.
You apparently have no fear of holes.
Holes? Oh,
no.
Tightly clustered holes. Yeah, exactly.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah.
The internet's a funny place. Drag and drop for cross-app stuff. So just drag things over, and you get kind of cross-app drag and drop on top of it. Preview in Notes, right? So you get sort of preview views on top of things, and more drag and drop support for alignment, steps, and whatever else it is. So this thing's got real motion behind it. There's real development and initiatives going on. The service in the back end's great. The integration with flagged emails and all sorts of stuff. Wonderful, 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 wonderful.
It's a great app.
That's it for me.
All right, man.
Over to you.
Well, you're going to be shocked and awed in how little I have, but that's all right. I've actually got one piece of content and one go watch this. So you guys didn't talk about this last week, I hope.
Which one?
The one on my screen, OnReset in PowerApps.
No.
Okay, cool. So this one's pretty straightforward, but it's also one of those too where if you don't have it, it's super frustrating, and you might have to go implement your logic in a kind of weird, non-linear way. But basically, we've added to components in PowerApps the OnReset event, which basically just means when a reset event on a particular control is set, you have the ability to run some custom script to set it. So you can see here on this GIF here that they're resetting the time, and they want the default to be 12:12 a.m., right? So no matter where they were or what they're doing, and then you can see all they're doing here is in the OnReset event, they're just calling this code. Set the selected hour to 12, selected minute to 12. Same kind of example down here where it's more like setting a visibility of a particular other component. So here's this dismiss down here, which is a reset, and it's simply setting it back to, so that's allowing you to put your logic in one place, no matter how you want to do your reset. Pretty straightforward, but again, one of those things that is probably a lifesaver if you have a lot of controls where you're doing form resets and those kinds of things all the time. So pretty straightforward, but it's just a kind of did you know thing, and go and be a productive citizen developer. This one I wanted to call out. This week we had the Microsoft Business Applications October virtual launch event. That's a mouthful. That was the other day. I can't remember what day it was on this week. It's been a long week, but it's now available.
Yesterday? I thought it was, but
maybe it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I don't recall. But so a lot of things around the Power Platform. So Power Apps, Flow, Power BI. I'm sure there's some dynamic stuff in there too. So it's available on demand. I know we're talking about a lot of forward-looking things at this point. We've gotten a lot better in these products. I wouldn't say a lot better, but we've kind of moved to this model where we're, really being straightforward with our roadmaps, kind of like 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. And those are published even in the docs, so you can start to see the things that are going to be coming and coming soon. So go check this event out. I love these intermittent events that we've been doing live and doing virtual broadcasts on from the Power Platform perspective. We've been doing, we had the Flow event not too long ago. We have this event just yesterday or this week. And I really just love the content that we're putting out because, man, again, that's why we do the show. Things are moving so fast and we want to bring awareness to these things and it's hard to keep up. So a lot of the good content is out there and I would say go check this out. Maybe make it a weekend viewing event. So the only other thing I really had, Doug, was go Cardinals.
Thanks for that.
I was really looking forward to a Twins St. Louis.
I had my Twins jersey on last week. It did not help. Not that I thought it would. So yeah, I was on calls with people from New York this week. They were super happy as the Twins got swept. Right.
So now I'm rooting for the Yankees to play against the Cards. I think that would be a killer World Series.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wish everyone in their baseball teams luck, except for perhaps the Yankees. But that's just because of what happened, not because of anything else. Yeah. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you all next week. And next week we will have the demonstration of setup for the telemetry, the new version of the.
All right.
Yep. So we're going to walk through that setup because I got half the recording done and certainly enough to stay ahead of y'all for next week. So we'll be on board with that demonstration next week. And then we can turn loose Todd on some data insights on that Gen 2 analytics stuff. All right. Awesome. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you in a week. Have a great weekend, all.
Take care, everyone.